It's episode 10 of What Y'all Cooking. And what y'all better be cooking next better be some good old meatloaf. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone between, with all due respect, this is your boy BK, aka Chef Boyar, BK, aka that boy be cooking it right. You know what I'm saying? And it's my job to make sure from the Cooking It Right channel to make sure that you absolutely you're cooking it right.
The player way.
Absolutely. Freaking lootly, man. I'm so jazzed, man. I got my champion cap here, my champion visor, and I am ready. I'm stoked, okay? Why am I using these old school words and phrases? Why am I acting tubular? Because I feel like an old school kid on the way home from school. And you know what they used to serve when you was on your way home from school? You knew it was on and popping when your mama said that she had a good old hot steaming, like Willie Beeman, cast iron pan full of meatloaf. It's like an American tradition, man. I can't even contain myself. Yeah. Y'all be looking at me like, hell no. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love meatloaf. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't like meatloaf, you got to get on up out of here if you don't like some meatloaf. And if you don't really like it all that much, and every time just the thought of meatloaf makes you think, oh no, you just ain't had it right, in my opinion. So I got you. Your boy BK got you. I'm always here for you. You know what I'm saying? I got all the extra pro tips just to make sure you're cooking it right.
Exclusive.
Give you
The
the
player
exclusives
way.
Exclusive.
to make sure you are cooking it right and you absolutely doing it
The player way.
Yeah, we got you, baby. We got you. Sprinkle, sprinkle, twinkle, twinkle. We got you, man. I'm ready. I'm so excited about this. So already out the bat, ground meat, breadcrumbs, rosemary, paprika. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's pretty much, there's always, it's all about the seasoning. You got to put a little bit more seasoning in there. Back in the day, I used to start with they got these meatloaf starter kits that you can get at the grocery store. All right, hold on a second. Let me take it back. This is really weird. Okay, so this is just like they doing a little much right here. Hold on. Okay, so they went. I thought they was gonna start with like a traditional meatloaf, but they are just going with like a mini loaf thing. So they got breadcrumbs, they got mustard here. They got some eggs. So paprika. Wow, there's really not much to that. This is, you got to put a little bit more love in some meatloaf for me. Okay. All right. Let's stop this right now because I'm kind of frustrated. They had me all extra excited for this episode. I'm ready to give y'all the exclusives and give y'all pro tips, but they messing you up. So here's what we're about to do. I'm about to give you some pro tips right off the bat and give you some basics on meatloaf. I've been making meatloaf since I was like, I had to be like 11 or 12 when I first started making my first meatloaf. Mini loaves is a way to make meatloaf when you're trying to save on ground beef. We had to do that back in the day sometimes. This particular recipe seems to be all about wrapping it in bacon. And when it comes to wrapping everything in bacon, hell no! You don't need to do that all the time. People go a little too far with the wrapping everything in bacon. Not only that, but all of y'all that are watching this episode, some of y'all are probably closer into your 30s, in your late 20s. If you're thinking about cooking, that's a specific target audience. So some of y'all, maybe y'all not trying to put everything inside of rotting cholesterol. Bacon is good and all. You know what I'm saying? And there's a time and a place for everything, but we can't wrap everything in bacon. So let's chill out on the bacon recipes all the time, and let's more so focus on making a really good meatloaf. So again, pro tip number 1, hold off on wrapping everything in bacon. And I'm worried that every single recipe on here is about to be about wrapping everything in bacon. So let's just keep on going and see what they got going on. Okay, so this is the topping: the tomato puree, tomato sauce. They put cream. Salt, pepper. Of course, all these videos just salt and pepper. What is this? What? Nah, bro. I don't. This is like meatballs. Like that's like meatballs with bacon wrapped around them. You know, and it's funny because you can draw a lot of distinctions, a lot of comparisons between meatloaf and meatballs, but that was just basically bacon wrapped meatballs. So when it comes to that particular one, I'm not with that one at all. I'm not with that one. This recipe looks a little bit more promising. It looks more like, God, here we go with the bacon again. What is going on?
Oh no.
Everything has got to be wrapped in bacon? I sense a plot to destroy us, man.
Conspiracy. But
Why is everything wrapped in bacon?
What is
going on? Is that just the key to making a good YouTube video? Is wrapping it in bacon? Just put whatever in there. I kind of tune it out as soon as everything don't belong. Okay, this is cheese and ham. What? Wait a minute. I guess this is about to be a video where I'm making fun of everything. They just put anything in here. This is just like a bacon cheeseburger wrap. This is not no meatloaf. What is going on? Wow. Bacon wrapped mess. No, y'all need to shut it down. This is too much. Give me a good solid. Okay, we on our way. Parmesan, pepper. Okay. We on there. I'm seeing some things going on. I'm seeing some things going on.
You are watching a master at work.
Oh, here we go. The cheese. If it's not bacon, then it's cheese. So they're gonna put it on a stick. What? Wow. And more bacon. What is going on, man? What's They shouldn't even have called this a meatloaf recipe. This should just be called the wrap everything in bacon. Y'all keep getting me excited with the ingredients like it's meatloaf. We're gonna see. Why they just put a little bit in there like that? Why they do it? Oh, here we go. Bacon on this. This is a trap. This is
conspiracy.
This is just.
But what if? It's a conspiracy.
This is so stupid. Every recipe for the meatloaf got bacon in there. Do y'all put bacon in meatloaf every single time? I have never seen this bacon and eggs in the meatloaf. What is going on, man? I am so hurt. I am so let down right now. What's going on? I don't understand. Why is everything got to have the bacon in there? Ham and cheese. So recipe number 1 was a ham and cheese pocket. I don't even know. This is all, I'm so hurt. Y'all don't even understand. I'm like for real hurt right now. What is going on? Everything is wrapped in bacon or stuffed with cheese. When did we start doing this as meatloaf? When did this pass as meatloaf? I don't understand. Scrum Diddly Ump just made this video. Well, we're gonna get y'all up out of here. I don't understand. We just gonna, yeah. I don't understand. I thought I was gonna watch 5 irresistible meatloaf recipes, and we ended up with 5 ground beef wrapped with bacon recipes. All right, so let me give y'all some pro tips real quick. Let's just go down with we're gonna salvage this because this is crazy. Okay, so let me give you 5 pro tips in making a really good meatloaf.
Number 5.
All right, pro tip number 5: don't put bacon in the god dang on meatloaf, man. I'm trying not to lose myself. I'm trying not to lose my whole sense of myself, but don't put bacon in the meatloaf. Bacon is everything doesn't need to be wrapped in bacon. The thing about wrapping things in bacon is it's something that it's a trend that started online. It makes people say, "Oh my goodness, that sounds so good," and then you try to make it and it don't turn out exactly right. Not only that, but wrapping your dinner in a whole package of bacon is just not good for you. It is terrible for you. So definitely stay away from wrapping your meatloaf in bacon. If you make your meatloaf the right way, you won't need to do that. Okay. Let's move on to the next pro tip.
Number 4.
Pro tip number 4 is all about making sure that you have the right ingredients inside. So what separates a hamburger from a meatloaf is what you put into it. Remember, if you look at the hamburger recipe episode, I told you don't put eggs, don't put breadcrumbs, don't put those types of things inside your burgers. A burger is all about just the beef and the actual fat that you grind into it and getting the right grind together so that you can get that right minced meat flavor of a burger. So when it comes to the time to use the egg and the breadcrumbs and the Parmesan cheese and the parsley and the garlic salt and the minced garlic and all that, that's when it comes to the meatloaf. So meatloaf is all about being creative in terms of the seasonings that you want to put into it and give flavor to it. But your standards are always going to be eggs. You're going to have breadcrumbs. And then, of course, you're going to have some sort of seasoning on in there, as well as some tomato sauce and things like that. So what you want to be careful of with pro tip number 4 is when you're putting your things in there, you got to remember that it's eventually got to congeal back together again. So be careful about the balance of your wet and dry ingredients and making sure that you don't put too much tomato sauce so that you end up with this gelatinous mass that you can't really slice or anything. It needs to be firm, but it needs to also be flavorful and juicy as well. Let's move on to the next pro tip.
Number 3.
Pro tip number 3 is all about making sure that you have the right kind of toppings on top of it. So some people like to use ketchup on top. To me, I'm not with the ketchup at all.
Hell no!
I'm not with that. Whenever somebody wants to give me some sort of meatloaf that's got ketchup slathered on top, in my brain, I'm just thinking like, oh no, I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, if you want a really good money recipe, it's all about tomato paste and making sure that you create a topping that's got some sort of thickness to it. It's well seasoned and it's got some sweetness to it as well, because you're I was talking to somebody about on Facebook about putting sugar in spaghetti sauce. You don't need to put sugar in spaghetti sauce, but that's a whole nother episode. But in your topping for your meatloaf, it may be okay to put a little sweetness in that topping so that you get that right kind of flavor there. You also could just do a gravy instead of a topping if the topping is not. So either go for a really good brown gravy to put on top of that, or make you a really good tomato paste based sauce that's got the right kind of flavors. It's all about trial and error to make that topping on top of it. Okay.
Number 2.
Okay, so number 2 is all about no cheese. You don't need to put cheese in the meatloaf. When you're making your meatloaf, it's all about also serving you some really good side dishes, which is going to be number 1. Which side dish I think you should always serve with your meatloaf. But it's all about having really good sides with it. So save the cheese for if you got like some sort of salad or something like that. If you want to do like a house salad, do some cheese on that if you want to, but keep the dairy out of the meatloaf. It's all about the meat. It's a meatloaf. It's about celebrating the beef inside of it. So it's all about really taking that meat and really doing something with it. You can do Mediterranean meatloafs if you want to go more toward the kefta side, because the kefta is a similar type of meatloaf concoction. You can go that way with it, or you can go in a completely different direction and just go more toward that American meatloaf flavor. But don't put cheese inside of your meatloaf. Putting extra things inside of the meatloaf is all about cheating and all about creating something that is just really not. You're robbing yourself of a great opportunity to have a really good meatloaf. You know, again, get the right ingredients, get you some eggs, get you to some tomato paste, get you a little bit of tomato sauce. You might even want to slice up some fresh tomatoes. I sometimes take Roma tomatoes and slice them very thinly and put them right on top. And that can also, when that cooks right, that could even make up a really good topping for it as well, without even having to use any thing on there. Some really good breadcrumbs. You can do some panko. You can do some Parmesan, Italian type. Really make sure you season it really well. Get you some flavor guides, some Slap Your Mama seasonings and all of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, and then when you put it in there, put it inside of a cast iron pan. You know, that's the best way. You can get you a really nice crust on there. So again, tip number 2, keep the cheese out of it. You don't need it. There's so many other things that you can do to it so that you can get that true meatloaf experience without putting extra cheese in it and all these other things that's really going to really distract from the flavor, add a bunch of extra calories, and it's already a high calorie meal anyway. And finally, number 1, which is the most important thing, in my opinion, to a meatloaf dinner.
And number 1.
You got to make you some mashed potatoes with it, okay? Remember, I alluded to it. I said you got, you can have some gravy on the side. If, in my opinion, a really good meatloaf dinner has got to have some fresh mashed potatoes with it. If you're not good at the mashed potatoes, you can get you some potato flakes, some Yukon stuff, and do it that way. But get you some real good potatoes, boil them up, mash them up. We got another episode about mashed potatoes coming up at some point. Not potato salad. You don't need to do that. But, get you some real good mashed potatoes. Enjoy yourself. Treat yourself. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself that great American recipe experience. Before you knock it, before you say you don't want to do any meatloaf, give yourself an opportunity. And there are tons of great meatloafs all over the internet. If you are lost and you want some guidance on making a better meatloaf, hit me up, DM me, and I can give you some pro tips on make sure you're cooking it right, making sure that you are cooking it
the player way.
Absolutely. And who knows, if you cook it the right way, one day you'll get to hear me say you're cooking it right. Absolutely, man. That's the goal. It's all about understanding what's going down. But in order for you to get to that next level, you actually got to apply yourself. You got to, don't stop at this video. Go to your nearest grocery store. Get on Amazon, order your groceries if you want to. Bring it to your house. Make sure you're getting it done. Inbox me so that I can ask you.